Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanton's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a 1-point lead.
Time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nova. Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But I did it, man. I really just had
To Bronson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Okay, welcome to the podcast. Welcome, everybody. Episode 782 of the show. We are talking New York Yankees, and it is January 14th, Tuesday, as I speak, Tuesday night. And I got to tell you, man, I'm getting more and more excited for the season as we get closer. Camp is around the corner. It is about a month, a little less than a month, maybe now. And Yankees baseball will be here before you know it. The spring is around the corner. Man, you just get excited. No matter what team you're a fan of, you know, as soon as you get to the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl ends, it's officially baseball season, and every single MLB fan in the world gets excited. Your team could be coming off a 100-loss season. They could be coming off a season where they win the World Series. They could be coming off a season where they lose the World Series in one inning, in an inning of blunders and errors. But we're still going to be excited, you know? No, listen, the Yankees are going to have an interesting expectation this upcoming season. Obviously, everybody wants them to win the World Series, but and they need to, right? That's the goal. That has to be what they're aiming for. It's an interesting roster. I have given my thoughts plenty of time on this roster. You know, I've had highs, I've had lows. The more we wait this offseason out, the more my opinion bounces up and down and left and right. But I want to believe that overall, it's a very good Yankees team. That overall, they have a good chance to win the American League East. That overall, they have a solid chance to win the American League. I can't go much further than that. I still think there are moves to be made, decisions to be done. And with this episode, we're going to dive into something fun. We're going to talk about the Fangraphs 2025 player projections that Steamer put out. I don't know how long this has been out. It's been out at least for a few weeks now. You know, it's been all over my algorithm on Instagram. Everybody's posting about it. I just saw somebody else on YouTube drop a Yankees episode where they were discussing these projections. So I figured, you know what? There's nothing going on. Let me also join in on the fun. So Fangraphs put out some projections, and what we are going to do in this episode is dive into those projections and pick it apart a little bit and discuss player to player what we think these expectations mean and if they are conservative, if they are too aggressive, etc. So we're going to dive into all that the second we return from break. Stay with us here on episode 782 of the podcast. BD4 is available on social media for those who want to follow. You can find BD4 on Instagram at BD4Pod. You can find us on X at BD4Pod. And you can find us on Facebook by simply searching BD4. Hey guys, just a quick reminder, this podcast is also available in video format on YouTube. So be sure to go over to the YouTube channel, BD4, subscribe, like the videos, comment, and tell me how much I suck or maybe how much you like the video. We'd very much appreciate it. Don't have time to sit down and watch a video? You can listen to BD4 on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And you can also watch the video format on Spotify too. All right. Welcome back to the show, episode 782 of the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone, and we are going to discuss the Yankees 2025 player projections. A lot of things to discuss here. A lot of interesting numbers I saw when I went across this spreadsheet on Fangraphs. You know, some interesting stuff about Garrett Cole, some cool stuff about Jazz Chisholm, Jason Dominguez, his rookie year numbers. So we're going to get into all of it and give some thoughts on each of these guys, at least each of the significant players on the team in this episode. So with that said, let's start with the lineup. I think the best way to probably go about this is to just go from catcher to first, and we'll go around the diamond that way. So let's start this up with Austin Wells. Austin Wells had a good rookie season last year. You know, he didn't get the full-time role until Jose Trevino went down. Then he started to get more playing time, and he really took off, you know, in the middle of the summer there. Tapered off in September, had a rough postseason. You know, pitchers were targeting him in a specific area, which we've talked about and will talk about. But he finishes his rookie year solid overall. He was an above-average hitter, very good for a catcher. And now he goes into his second year, and these expectations here, or these projections rather, on the screen say Austin Wells this upcoming 2025 season across 109 games will bat .231 with a .314 on base, .412 slug, .726 OPS, a .107 WRC plus, 3.5 WAR for a catcher, 16 home runs, 53 RBIs, 43 walks at a 10% walk rate, 98 strikeouts, and that's across 437 plate appearances. So those are Austin Wells' projections for this upcoming season. And I know that he's a catcher, and he's a young catcher at that, but I would like the Yankees to give him a little more games than 109. I wonder if Fangraphs takes into account Jose Trevino in 2024. I think that's probably why they have him at 109, because they don't take into account stuff like that. Excuse me. But overall, these are the numbers, and some of them are good. I would like a little more pop, a little more home run pop. You know, 16's a little low. If I were to hit an over, I'd probably go over on that. I'd like to get him close to or over 20 home runs. But he definitely has some things he has to work on. You know, we've discussed in recent Yankees episodes where, you know, he struggled against left-handed pitching. That was one of the bigger reasons he didn't get consistent playing time for a while. But hopefully now he gets the full-time reps against left-handed pitching and improves there. He's had some success against lefties in the minors. In the majors, small sample size, but not getting on base, no slugging. So lefty pitching has given him problems so far. Got to be more selective on those fastballs up and over the zone, right? Whether it's, you know, I'm not that he needs to hit those more, but lay off some of them, because his swing, you know, the way he swings the bat, his bat path, he's never going to be able to get to those balls with power. So, I think for Austin Wells to improve his on-base numbers and improve his slugging numbers, just stay where you're hot. He's a good low ball hitter. Those fastballs up over the zone, try to lay off of them. Try to spoil some of those fastballs up in the zone. And he has a good eye. He has a good eye, and he's got good left-handed power. So I think there's potential for Austin Wells to surpass these projections here. So those are Austin Wells' projections for 2025. As we go to first base, that is Paul Goldschmidt. Interesting here, Paul Goldschmidt's numbers. 250 batting average, 325 on base, 431 slug, 756 OPS, 114 WRC plus, 1.9 WAR, 24 home runs, 83 RBIs, 61 walks, 168 strikeouts, 10% walk rate, 642 plate appearances, 147 games. So those are the projections for Paul Goldschmidt's first pinstripe season, and probably only. Much better than I thought, to be honest with you. I have been saying if Paul Goldschmidt is average for the Yankees, if he does something similar, maybe a little better than last year, it's a win. These numbers right here are pretty well above average. Like a 114 WRC plus, an OPS over 750. That's not bad at all. I would take that. I think the WAR is a little low because his defense has slipped. So you do want to see him better with a glove. I don't know how that's going to be. But that's usually the last thing to go. Hopefully that was just a blip in the radar. The glove last year, statistically, if you're looking at the StatCast metrics, it was more average. But, with the bat, those are good numbers there. He came off a hot second half. He had a very good season hitting against left-handed pitching, which is something the Yankees need. And you look at the StatCast metrics, the hard hit metrics are all still solid. All of them are above average to well above. Exit velos, the hard hit, the barrel, all red. So that's a promising sign. Now, Josh Donaldson also had hard hit numbers in his Yankees tenure, but so you got to take some of these expected metrics with a grain of salt. But, if you're looking at the second half and you want to talk yourself into optimism that he can be average, I can see that. And so these numbers on the screen here, if you're watching the video format, a 114 114 WRC plus, that's not bad at all. I would take that and sprint away with it. So I like that, especially for, projections are usually conservative. That would be a win. Let's go to second base. The idea is to bring Jazz Chisholm back to second base this year. So hopefully that's what the Yankees do. And these projections on the screen, across 141 games, 246 batting average, 314 on base, 447 slugging, 761 OPS, 114 WRC plus, 3.6 WAR, 29 home runs, 80 RBIs, 35 stolen bases, 52 walks, 158 strikeouts in 629 plate appearances. Again, I would 100% take a season like this from Jazz Chisholm. Just missing out on a 30-30 season. I think a lot of Yankees fans expect him to flirt with or at least get the 30-30 year. I think he gets it. So I like these numbers. This is a win. If you're getting this in your first full season with Jazz, excellent numbers to me. I still don't want him leading off, because of the approach he brings to the plate. I think that approach is more sound for middle half to lower in the order. But, just because he doesn't walk and he's got a high K rate, he's a very swing-happy player, but that's a good year right there. And Jazz is a very toolsy player. He's got speed, glove, and some left-handed power. So you get something like this from Jazz Chisholm, it's 1,000% a win. Let's go to shortstop. Anthony Volpe, the shortstop of the Yanks, projected across 150 games played to bat .241, .310, .399, which equates to a .708 OPS and a .101 WRC+, a 4-WAR shortstop, 18 home runs, 66 RBIs, 29 stolen bases, 55 walks, 141 Ks, and that's across 664 plate appearances. So those are your projections for Anthony Volpe this upcoming season. I would like some of these numbers to be a little bit better. Remember, don't let the Yankees brainwash you. They sold us all on Volpe's bat and his on-base skills being a thing. So I think, so far in his career, the on-base percentages have been abysmal regarding Volpe. I would love for him to work on that approach and get that OBP to 325. A 110 WRC plus would be very acceptable. But he's got to figure out this approach, right? His first rookie season, he very loopy swing, maybe almost too loopy for some people. He tried to fix it, and he kind of spent time tweaking his swing last year. It was more level at points. He's just got to figure out a consistent approach. What swing are you bringing up to the plate? Stay inside the zone. I think you figure that out, right? You struggle against off speed away. You lay off some of those pitches. It's going to increase your on-base percentage. What we saw in the postseason last year with Volpe from Kansas City to Cleveland to the World Series, I thought he was solid. His approach was phenomenal. That's the approach we're going to see. We're going to need to see. We just haven't seen a consistent approach, which is why he's been so streaky over the course of his career. So I think you keep Anthony Volpe low in the order. Even if he's hitting hot to start the season like he did last year, don't move him up. Maybe eventually someday he can be a leadoff hitter, but right now while he's trying to find himself, just keep him down there. Let him, as the kids say, cook. 7, 8, 9, and that just let him hang out in the bottom third there. And if he can give you an above average bat, considering he's a Gold Glove shortstop, that is a major win. So hopefully Volpe takes a leap. These numbers are a little underwhelming. I would like a little better. Third base, as of now, it's Oswaldo Cabrera. These are average numbers. 243 with the batting average. 399 or 699 OPS, 99 WRC plus. So average. Not much. Which, sure. If he was like a utility man who didn't start every day, sure. And that's what they have him doing right now. He's listed for 78 games, less than 300 plate appearances. So you take this if he's not your everyday guy. He's got a good, solid glove. He can move around. And, in stretches, he can be a decent bat. I just think the Yankees can't start him. So those are your numbers for Oswaldo Cabrera. Let's go to the outfield. We'll start in left field, who's hopefully going to be Bellinger. Cody Bellinger's Yankees projections here. 254, 318, 439, 757 OPS, a 112 WRC plus, 2.7 WAR, 23 homers, 78 RBIs, 12 stolen bases. across 136 games played. It's about what I expect. And it'd be 100% acceptable to me. I like these numbers. The pop is fine. You know, the stolen bases are there. The slugging. It's about what I expect. I'm hoping he can hit 23 homers. You know, I hope this new approach that he has is still able to bring him power in Yankee Stadium. It's a lot more contact oriented, where he sacrificed a little bit of bat speed and some of the hard hit numbers for more bat control and more contact. So we'll see where that leads. But, you know, as a lefty in Yankee Stadium, you have to figure he can do 23. He's done it before. So those are Cody Bellinger's numbers. 112 WRC plus. Center field. Jason Dominguez, the Martian, who has been the Yankees' number one prospect for a while now. Number two, wherever you look. It's one or two. Obviously, this kid has been raking in AAA. Definitely big league ready, in my opinion. It's time to give this kid the full reps. You just hope that he can stay healthy. He's been hurt enough already. He's a small, stocky kid. You just hope he stays healthy and doesn't end up being one of those guys who tweaks things and pulls muscles. But I would accept these numbers here. Dominguez's numbers projected as a rookie this year: 249, 326 on base, 418 slug, 744 OPS, and a 112 WRC plus. It's a 2.2 WAR, 18 homers, 63 RBIs, 18 stolen bases, 52 walks, 129 strikeouts, 530 plate appearances. So 136 games played. Those are solid numbers for a switch hitting rookie. For a 22-year-old kid, especially if he stays healthy, because those counting stats would go up even more. And the odds are if he plays, 145, he'll give you a 20-20 year. I think the kid's legit. I think his switch hitting power is legitimate. Obviously, he's got to work on some things. Figure out some things from the right side of the plate. Keep a consistent loft on your swing. Hit it in the air more. But, yeah, I think the bat's legit. The glove, listen, I'm not worried about the glove. I think last year, you're bringing him up and you're asking him to play a tough left field in Yankee Stadium last second. I think that was fluky. And I think if you're buying into the fact that Jason Dominguez can't catch a fly ball at the major league level, I think you're letting the Yankees brainwash you, and you're thinking about the Verdugo stuff. Oh, Verdugo's our guy. He's the best guy to give us a chance at winning. You guys got to stop listening to their crap. Jason Dominguez can catch a fly ball. The projections, the scouting reports said that he's an average glove out there. He'll be fine. He struggles to make some reads, but his speed makes up for it. He'll be fine. And if you keep him in center field, which is his natural spot, that's where you want him. I think he'll be fine. I think it was fluky. I don't think he's going to be dropping fly balls left and right this year. I think we need to relax, and I think we need to let that go. Give the kid a chance. But the numbers themselves, yeah, I mean, those are solid for 136 games. 1,000% I take that. It's a solid rookie season, man. Right field. Let's go to right field. Let's go to the captain. The captain, Aaron Judge, who Fangraphs is projecting him for 272 batting average, 399 on base, 576 slug, 975 OPS, 170 WRC plus, 7 WAR, 46 home runs, 114 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, 111 walks, 173 Ks, across 665 plate appearances in 155 games. So, again, the main numbers there, 170 WRC plus, 975 OPS, 46 bombs. So, definitely a big drop-off from what he did last year, but projections are usually conservative. You can't expect Fangraphs to project Aaron Judge to hit 57 more home runs, whatever it was. As long as he's healthy, he'll hit, you have to figure. And I like the fact that he's going back to right field. I think that's going to help him stay healthy. I think he's a better right field glove anyway. I just, I question around Aaron Judge. Who protects Aaron Judge? Who hits behind? Who hits ahead? Is Judge going to be hitting second? Is Judge going to be hitting third? Do the Yankees think about putting him first if they don't find a leadoff bat? But I think Judge will be fine. I just worry about who's going to break out around Aaron Judge now that you know who is gone. But for me, I just need him to stay healthy and do it in the postseason. Because Aaron Judge doesn't hit in the playoffs. And apparently he can't field in the playoffs either. So we're going to need postseason Aaron Judge. He could hit 70 more home runs this year. I do not give two shits about what he does in the regular season anymore. I need Aaron Judge to start doing it when it matters. Let's go to DH. Wonder who that is. A guy who hits in the playoffs. Giancarlo Stanton, the DH for the Yankees, projected by Fangraphs this year to play 122 games, bat .228 with a .303 on base, but a .473 slug, 776 OPS, 117 WRC plus, a 1 WAR, 31 home runs, 76 RBIs, stolen base in there. 47 walks, 152 Ks across 506 plate appearances. Listen, Stanton's not a guy who's going to be a contact bat. He's not a guy who's going to get on base a ton anymore. He's a guy who's going to hit dingers. He's going to hit bombs. He's going to bring you great power. So if he's healthy, I'm 1,000% taking this. He just needs to stay healthy. Can he stay healthy? Can he have another productive season a year older? I don't know. But those are good numbers that I would take. So those are your bats. Those are the important bats. Overall, the projections there, Fangraphs projects the Yankees to have 8 above average bats. In the one bat that's not above average, in Cabrera, a 99 WRC plus. So, you round that off. Fangraphs expects the Yankees to have a deep lineup of guys who are, not many standouts, but quality, 1 to 9. That's what they project. Okay, there's a difference. We'll see. Again, I do think somebody needs to break out. With that said, with that being your lineup projections, what we're going to do is now move to the mound. And we'll talk about the rotation, and we'll talk a little bit about the bullpen. So when we return from break, that's exactly what we're going to do. Stay with us here on BD4 episode 782. Be right back. If you feel like supporting the podcast, you can Venmo at Robert-Carbone-JR-28. We really appreciate your support. Do you enjoy Yankees baseball but are tired of hearing me yap? I have a suggestion for you. Go check out Yankee Crazy Podcast. Greg Gill is a Yankees podcaster on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and he's now selling merch. Go to yankeecrazy.myshopify.com. Stay connected with us. Visit BD4blog.com to explore our blog, tune in to our latest podcasts, and follow us on social media. Thank you for being a part of this community. All right. Welcome back to the show. Episode 782 of BD4. Doing some player projections. Just went through the lineup. Now let's start with the rotation. Let's do the rotation first. And we'll begin with the ace of the Yankee staff, Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole. Projected numbers for 2025. Across 31 games pitched, which is huge. 12-10 record. 3.93 ERA. 189 innings. 119 whip. 398 FIP. 3.1 WAR. 197 strikeouts. 53 walks. 28 home runs. 173 hits. 83 earned runs. Those are Gerrit Cole's projections for this upcoming season. And I got to tell you, that's a very disappointing line. It's a very disappointing, if we're only 12-10 and Gerrit Cole starts, my gosh. If Gerrit Cole goes out there and he pitches to an ERA just below 4, my gosh. I have to think. I don't know. I don't know what Fangraphs was thinking. I think if Gerrit Cole's healthy, he will be a much better pitcher than that. Now, is he, declined a little bit from what he was at his peak? Sure. He's coming off the injury. He's older. The metrics have been declining. But he still throws hard enough. He's going to sit 96, 95. That's enough to get by. He'll dial it up when he needs to. He does conserve for the postseason. We saw him throw hard during the playoffs. I still think there's plenty enough in there for Cole to be better than this. In the regular season, I think you conserve his energy a little bit, right? You keep his innings limit under 200. Have a little bit of not a limit, but if they were a little bit more conservative with how they used him, and Gerrit Cole's going out there and he tosses and he's pitching really well against the enter shit team here. I don't know. Give me a terrible team in the American League. There are too many of them. And you're up 6-0 in the 6th inning. There's no reason to stretch them to 7. Just have the postseason on your mind when Gerrit Cole's out there. But I think he could still give you a good ERA. I don't think he's going to go pitch to a 3.9. Keep it under 3.30, and I'd live with it. He was just recently ranked as the number 8 starting pitcher in baseball by MLB Network earlier today. So I have to think those projections are going to be incorrect and too conservative. So I think Gerrit Cole will be fine. Let's go to Max Fried. Max Fried projected across 29 starts, 12-9 record, 3.36 ERA, 173 innings, 1.22 whip, 3.51 FIP, 3.3 WAR, 165 strikeouts, 48 walks, 17 home runs allowed. Those are good numbers. Those are solid. I would take those numbers. Those are strong numbers from a number 2 pitcher. I would not have a problem with Max Fried doing that. Maybe a little bit better of an ERA. That would be his worst since 2019. But If Max Fried went out and did that and Garrett Cole was pitching like Garrett Cole's capable of pitching, I would live with that for sure. He's a good ground ball pitcher, gets a ton of those, especially considering you have an improved infield defense. His stuff's gonna play up that way. He's got a deep pitch mix, doesn't totally rely on a fastball, so that's gonna help him stay healthy and hopefully be a good pitcher for the Yankees for a while. But these numbers for 2025 are very solid. That's what you wanted from the guy we're going to talk about here, Carlos Rodon. But Carlos Rodon projected in 2025 to have an 11-10 record, 3.91 ERA, 176 innings pitched, 118 whip, 3.91 FIP, 2.8 WAR, 200 strikeouts. That's awesome. 54 walks, 27 bombs allowed, 31 starts. Yeah, those are Rodon-type numbers, similar to what he did last year. But he'll eat innings, he'll punch strikeouts. I'd take it. Just, he's going to be inconsistent. At this point, I don't think he's ever going to live up to the $27 million per year contract, but, just work on some things. Change up command against right-handed batters. I know he scrapped the cutter after using it a little bit earlier in the season. Has he been working on that? Does he go back to that this year? I don't know. But, primarily a two-pitch pitcher. So we'll see what happens with Rodon. I know he did mix in the slider more. Is there more in him? We'll see. We'll see. But that's solid. Solid for being that he's not going to be their number 2 anymore. Luis Gil. Luis Gil's projections here. 38 games, 28 starts, 10-10 record, 4.19 ERA, 161 in a third innings, a 133 whip, 441 FIP, 1.8 WAR, 179 strikeouts, 75 walks, 24 homers. Very disappointing. It would be very disappointing if that's what Luis Gil went out and did this upcoming year. I think he's capable of much better. This is a kid who won Rookie of the Year, and he's got unhittable stuff. Literally unhittable stuff. If he's healthy, he's too good to do something like that. He had insane numbers on all 3 of his pitches last year. Against the four-seam fastball, hitters batted .205 with a .395 slug. Against the slider, hitters batted .171 with a .312 slug. Against the changeup, .179 batting average, .282 slug. The guy doesn't get hit, and he doesn't get hit for power much. He'll have a couple mistakes here and there. It's got to be he's got to work on the command. Fastball command. He's prone to leaving some pitches up in the zone, which is why when you look at his metrics, the exit velos, the hard hit, the barrel rates, the fly ball rates are not good. He's got to work on location and command. The walks are a problem. He puts some guys on. One mistake turns a 3-0 game into a 3-3 game. Just got to work on the command. That'll allow him to go deeper into games. Doesn't need to be, Greg Maddux out there. But just be average with your command. Average. The changeup keeps improving. I like that pitch more and more as we progressed in the season last year, especially to left-handed hitters. It's a great pitch. I'm curious to see why he's coming out of the bullpen for 10 appearances, according to the projections here. But yeah, that is Luis Gil. let's go to the final starter in this rotation. Clark Schmidt, who across 45 games, 21 starts, is expected to go 9-8 with a 3.92 ERA, 138 in the third innings, a 125 whip, 410 FIP, a 1.8 WAR, 136 strikeouts, 45 walks, 19 home runs allowed, 128 hits. Interesting to me. You know, they have him coming out of the bullpen even more than he starts. But those numbers overall are about right if he starts. You know, if he can give you a sub-4 as a starting pitcher for your number 5, that's a big win. Clark Schmidt's kind of a guy who's now flying under the radar, right? After the Max Fried deal pushes him to number 5, so not many people are thinking about him. But he's good. He stepped up last year when Garrett Cole got injured. It wasn't just Luis Seal, it was Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt was pitching to like a 2.35 before the injury that he had. And he's got good stuff. He's got good swing and miss stuff. He got more of that last year. I've always thought, because every pitch he throws moves. He's got great movement on his pitches. I always wondered why he didn't get more swing and miss. But last year you saw that start to progress a little bit. More whiff, more chase. The K rate went up. Because his pitches move. He's got a deep pitch mix too. Mixes it up pretty well. But he did a good job last year of getting more swing and miss, of not getting banged around by left-handed hitters. The slugging percentages were never kind to him in the past against lefties. Pretty sure that improved last year. Extra base hits went down. Excited for Clark. Think he'll have a solid season. I'm interested to see. And a lot. Some of this is curious. Like, why do these guys have them coming out of the bullpen so much? I guess they had to account for Stroman, who's technically, they don't account things like, the Yankees are planning to move Stroman and stuff. So I guess I get it. That's your starting rotation. Let's go to the pen. We'll do some of the bullpen. Luke Weaver. Do we have his? We do. Luke Weaver projected across 70 games. 4-3 record, 3.68 ERA, 70 innings, 117 whip, 382 FIP, 75 strikeouts, 13 holds. I don't love those numbers. The ERA, I think, will be a lot lower. I think Luke Weaver's a lot better than that. He tweaked his mechanics, started throwing a little harder. The changeup was even more effective last year. The slide step in there, I think he'll be great. I think he'll do a lot better than that. Who else do we have here? Do we have a graphic for Devin Williams? Yes. Devin Williams projected for a 3-3 record, 3.20 ERA, 63 innings in 63 games, a 121 whip, 337 FIP, 81 strikeouts, 28 walks, 6 homers allowed, 31 saves. Again, not loving those projections. If Devin Williams goes out there and throws to a 3.2, whatever that was, what was it? Let me see here. Devin Williams pitches to a 3.20 this year. I'm not going to be loving that. This is a guy who's been dominant the last 3 seasons. Now, I know the Yankees didn't give up a ton for him, but, he's supposed to be dominant. He's your closer. He's one of the better pitchers in baseball. He's got an elite changeup. I want this guy dominating. And I think he will. That back end of the bullpen with Weaver and Williams has potential to be the best the best duo in baseball over the last, I don't know, number of years. Middle relief. Ian Hamilton. Hopefully he can stay healthy. They have him staying healthy at 62 games, 62 innings. 3-3 record. 3.47 ERA. 62 innings, 125 whip. 367 FIP. 67 strikeouts. 54 hits. 16 holds. I've always liked Ian Hamilton. If he goes out there and puts up numbers like that, I would take that. I would definitely take that for a middle relief pitcher if he's healthy. I think he's got a nasty two-seam, and he's got that slider change-up pitch that he likes to throw. Who else? Johnny Loizaga. Johnny Lasagna has re-signed with the Yankees, and he's expected or projected to throw in 48 games, 48 innings, a 3.60 ERA, 3.77 FIP, 126 whip, 42 strikeouts. He is a ground ball pitcher. I would like a little more than 48 innings. He needs to stay healthy once and for all, man. You know, can you get that number over 55? That's a win if you can do that. But I like Lasagna. I've always liked the two-seam fastball that he throws. Interested to see what his role is on the team this year, what lane that he's used in. We'll see. Jake Cousins. Projections, 58 games, 58 innings, 3-3 record, 3.79 ERA, 66 strikeouts, 12 holds. I like Jake Cousins a lot. I expect him to be even better than that. I have a lot of confidence in him. I love his wipeout slider. It's a good compliment off of that two-seam when he has two different pitches where he could throw a two-seam fastball going right to a righty and then a slider going away. Oh, man, the way he can funnel that pitch. He's going to be legit. I really do think this could be one of Matt Blake's projects that he turns into an elite reliever. So those are your middle relief guys. There are some other guys we didn't list or make a graphic for, but you know, some guys like Mark Leiter. If he returns, listen, if the Yankees and Mark Leiter can come to an agreement and they don't have to go to court and all that bullshit, give him an offseason with Matt Blake. You never know. Maybe he does start getting some swing and miss on that splitter. He did look pretty good in the playoffs. And same with Fernando Cruz, who we've spoken about. You know, we just did an entire episode on Fernando Cruz. That swing and miss splitter that he's got too. Matt Blake can tap into some of these guys, man. Clayton Beeter, we'll see what Clayton Beeter looks like this year. If he's a part of the team. I know Gomez is expected to be a part of the team. Brubaker is a name that's been floating around. A lot of Yankees fans like that. That guy, Will Warren. You know, I don't necessarily like the stuff from Will Warren. He's got a good breaking ball. But the fastball, I think it's graded as a plus pitch. I don't know. It underwhelms me a little bit. There's not much velocity there, and he doesn't have much else off the slider. Maybe he improves with Matt Blake. I don't know. Efros, I'm not high on Efros. But that's it, man. Overall, I like the bullpen a lot. You know, I think you have to go out and get one more lefty. And with Johnny Loizaga back, I'm fine with him being that ground ball guy. And I would prefer if the Yankees can go and get another strikeout arm. So Tim Hill would be off my list. I would prefer they go out and get Andrew Chafin. He does give up some fly balls, but he also misses a fuck ton of bats. The rotation, I like it a lot. Even without Roki Sasaki, who is apparently, I think it's down to LA or San Diego. But the Yankees are out on his list. Even without him, it's a rotation that I think could be top in baseball. At least the best in the American League and top 3 in baseball. They just have to stay healthy. I'm worried about Garrett Cole's health. Not really worried about anything else in that rotation. The lineup. As I've said multiple times, I don't love the lineup. I think they need to get one more impact bat. They also need 1 or 2 guys to break out this year. Said that about 5 times in this episode alone. Is it Dominguez? Is it Chisholm? Is it Volpe? Is it Wells? Somebody needs to break out. It can't just be Aaron Judge and friends. We cannot go back to 2023. And the way it's looking like right now, there's a pretty decent chance it's a 2023 type lineup. And I don't know if that's good enough to get you over the hump. So I'm worried about the lineup a little bit. I think they need another power bat. Unfortunately, there's not really anybody out there. You know, you're not getting Alonso. You're not getting Santander. You're going after someone like Bregman who can give you 25 bombs, play a good third base. Yeah, but do you see the Yankees doing that? I don't. Brendan Donovan is solid, but does Brendan Donovan solve your power issue? No. I don't know if the Yankees are going to have enough power, but literally everything else I like a lot. Everything else I love. I love the bullpen. I love the rotation. I love their infield and outfield defense. The lineup, I'll either like it or despise the shit out of it. I don't think we're ever going to get to a point where I love the lineup. So, I think it's something that can be above average, but that's probably its ceiling. But that's it, folks. Those are our thoughts on the Fangraphs 2025 Steamer projections. In the future, maybe more in February, we're going to be having some guests on. We'll talk about the projections of the American League East standings when they come out. We will maybe make our own projections, do some over-unders with our guests. So stay tuned for some future episodes coming up within the next month or 2 before the season begins. And I can't wait for the season to begin. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Tell me what you think. Are you confident in the Yankees this year? Do you agree with these projections by Fangraphs? Do you disagree with a lot of them? Let me know. Appreciate you all as always. Thank you. I'll see you in the next show. Go Yanks. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.